What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Central. The Knicks win game 61 of the regular season, 107-98 over the Cleveland Cavaliers. What a gutsy effort. That's the word to use for this game. Unbelievable. Jalen Brunson goes down in the first 40 seconds of the game. I'm having heart palpitations thinking that he's going to miss the remainder of the season. As of now, looks like the x-rays were negative and it's just a knee contusion or whatever they worded it as, which honestly is really freaking good considering the fact that by the looks of it and the fact that he couldn't put pressure on it, my heart sunk to the floor and I thought for sure it was a no doubt season ending type injury. I thought it was either Achilles or then they said knee. I'm like, don't tell me it's ACL. I think they're doing an MRI still, but if the x-ray didn't show much, that's a positive sign if the x-rays were negative. I don't know how much more the MRI could tell. I don't know. I'm not a doctor like that, but all I know is that the Knicks, without Jalen Brunson, they freaking kicked ass out there with the way that they won this game. And I'm shocked that they did win this game, but this was a much needed win, especially because they've been racking up losses left and right lately because of the fact that Philadelphia won over Dallas this afternoon too. They really needed to start getting wins, and without Brunson, I thought this was a no doubt loss right here, but especially for a team that's ahead in the standings, you want to win this type of game, and they go on the road and win this game. Before we jump further into everything, please be sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoy it. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Knicks fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live on the channel next. But I don't know where to start with this game because this game was just chaotic. It was really chaotic. There was a 13-0 run that made it a good quarter. I mean, Brunson was the biggest concern, but I love the ball movement, especially in that first quarter. I mean, all night it continued. There were times where the offense dried up a bit, but, you know, the ball movement was very good and noticeable, especially in that first quarter. And, yeah, they also had a good 21-9 run to end it in that first quarter. So all of a sudden they get a big lead. At one point they were leading by 12, and then all of a sudden they blow that because, well, it's Knicks basketball, and what do you expect here? And then you still have guys that just look terrible out there. Let's face it, Jericho Sims and Alec Burks were not great in this game. Sims did get better as the game went along in terms of, you know, making some defensive plays out there, but he's still, obviously, you don't want him in the lineup. You do not want him in the lineup. Then Hartenstein at one point went to the locker room in this game, having heart palpitations there. He came back in, gets smacked in the face, thankfully stayed in the game. But regardless, I mean, in that second quarter mostly, the offense just dried up towards the end of it especially. Cleveland was just hitting shot after shot, especially Garland, and what's the name too was Merrill. Merrill was hitting a bunch of shots as well. And yeah, the Knicks just looked brutal out there in terms of the paint defense too. The paint defense was just not good. Neither team really played good in the paint defensively throughout this entire game, to be honest with you, though. But the second half, the Knicks started off with like an 11-0 run or something like that. And then, of course, they had to make it close because they let the Cavs go on a 9-0 run during the quarter. And that's just the way it is. But towards the end, the Knicks started to turn around. Dante DiVincenzo, Josh freaking Hart as well, which we're going to talk more about Josh Hart, who, in my opinion, I mean, there's a couple guys you could pick as the player of the game, but Josh Hart, man, unbelievable. And then in the fourth quarter, just playing gutsy through the entire way, a physical game towards the end, and it ends with Hart hitting a clutch three in the corner, talking his smack to Donovan Mitchell, saying, shove it up, Yakista. And then Deuce McBride hits a big clutch three to end the game as well. Really put the nail in the coffin, who played pretty much this entire basketball game, by the way. Unbelievable. I mean, Deuce McBride, too, could arguably be the player of the game. Could arguably be it. During the middle of the game, we thought Brunson might return because they said he was questionable. And then everyone pulled the Aaron Rodgers snippet, which I was like, please don't do this to me. Like, Don't make me deal with this. I'm not a Jets fan, so I can't have the same, you know, connection there. But still, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this at all. And thankfully, that's the update we have so far that I mentioned earlier. But yeah, he didn't end up coming back in the game, obviously. And Deuce had to eat big minutes because they didn't trust Alec Burks one bit. Burks is not eating any minutes. The guy played 11 minutes in this game, which, yeah, 8 points. I mean, he didn't do It's not like it's the worst considering what we've got, but 3 of those points were from the line. So let's not pretend that, you know, he was hitting threes, that he was, you know, pulling up shots, driving to the rack. Like, he wasn't good again. I mean, that's just what Alec Burks has been, unfortunately. So I don't know. And the fact that he can't be trusted even when there's injuries tells me that once his team's fully healthy, there is not a chicken shit's chance that he's getting back, they staying in the rotation. There's just no way, especially if Deuce McBride is going to continue to play the way he has. Yeah, Burks might have not been needed in that trade, but Bojan Bogdanovic had a very good game today. Went 8 for 15 from the field, 1 for 6 from downtown. You'd maybe like to see him hit another 3 or 2 there, but went perfect at the free throw line, 20 points. Had a very solid effort for the most part. His defensive game was questionable at times, but, you know, whose isn't lately in terms of especially the paint defense. He's just getting beat there. And yeah, I mean, he had a good game offensively. He's here to get buckets at the end of the day, and he did that. He gave a spark off the bench. Jericho Sims didn't really give you much offensively. More like didn't give you anything. Had a couple moments defensively, but nothing too huge. But Deuce McBride, who we're going to talk about next, what a hero. What a hero. Played 47 minutes and 13 seconds. If you do not know, that's the exact amount of time it took to fill the void that Jalen Brunson left, because he left with within 47 seconds of the basketball game. Deuce McBride, he had 16 points, which might not pop off the chart, but you got to give him credit for being clutch with the shots that he was making. He went 4 for 9 from downtown, went 6 for 15 from the field. He was as efficient as he could possibly be, considering he played this entire game. And late in the game, he was missing some shots. I thought maybe he was fatigued, and I was like, maybe take him out a bit. And I don't love that you got to have, you know, Dante or Burks running the point, but you might have to roll with the punches here. And Deuce stayed in the whole game. And he balled out. Dante DiVincenzo did too. I mean, 6 for 14 from downtown. I was worried about DiVincenzo a bit, but he turned that around with the way he played tonight. Dante DiVincenzo was unreal. Hartenstein had a solid game as well. Doesn't pop off the charts necessarily, but I still thought he was very efficient tonight. And then, like, defensively, he has just been big. There was one block he made late in the game, and the one that he got slapped in the face on too. I mean, a lot of courage there to be blocking shots the way he was, but he was blocking a lot. He got registered with 1, but, you know, some of them were called fouls with the blocks. Questionable, to say the least, some of them. But regardless, Precious Achiuwa, solid game from him. Didn't get a lot of minutes, which is out of character for Precious Achiuwa. But I do like the minutes that he did give in terms of what he provided. I mean, he was blocking as well. He had 14 points. You can't expect much from Precious Achiuwa, and he's been above and beyond what we could expect. But Josh Hart is the player of the game for me, even though Deuce did fill in a huge role. Josh Hart was unbelievable. Had a triple-double in this game and 19 rebounds. 19 freaking rebounds. Are you kidding me with this guy? Plus 16, 13 points, 10 assists. I don't know what I need to say. And then the clutch 3 at the end, talking smack to Donovan Mitchell. I freaking loved it. I absolutely loved it. And, you know, he was a big part, too, in terms of getting both points in the paint and keeping points out of the paint late in the game, because the Knicks in the first half allowed like 20 points in the paint. They finished the game with 38, so almost a replica of, you know, how much they allowed in the first half, but still they got better as it went along. And the only thing you could really complain about with this game is their transition offense, but at the same time, Brunson was not playing the game, so it's hard to envision the transition offense being great. But I'm very happy with the win, because at this point they just need the freaking wins and they need to get healthy. Talk about it every single post game, but this was a big win. This was a much needed win in the standings, because, like I said, Cleveland's ahead of them. They had to win this game. Play the Atlanta Hawks next. Another game that you really got to win. It's a play-in level team. You really should. Then they play Orlando, who, you know, is close in the standings. Philadelphia back-to-back. A lot of opponents that they really need to get wins against the upcoming games. Then it gets a little easier in terms of playing the Trailblazers, which you'd hope OG Anunoby is going to be back by then. And if OG's back by then, this team defense is going to be unbelievable. So I'm excited for that. I'm just excited to watch this team healthy. But let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below on this game. Would love to hear from you guys. Don't forget to leave a like if you haven't already. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live next. And I'll see you guys in the next one.